It is time for the movement tutorial for Ratchet 1. Thank you all for 115 subscribers on Twitch. This was a sub goal of mine, and you all made it possible. I'm strictly going to do live commentary for all the moves shown on screen since the Ouya guide took about 16 hours to make, so I'll cut down on a lot of editing time if I do them all live without a script or post commentary and that kind of stuff. So hopefully this doesn't take away any of the experience for you all. So without further ado, let's get to it. Macaroni flips. Alright, for macaroni flips, or Clankless Lag Jumping, it's fairly simple. All you gotta do is, you gotta not, this applies whenever Ratchet does not have Clank on his back, which you can see he does not on the planet Old Tanis. I could have also picked Veldin 1. But what you gotta do is, do one of these side flips, which you do like that. You gotta do one of those while walking forward. So what you gotta do is you gotta walk forward and do this little rocking motion with the stick to the sideways. So you do like that to the left, and you can also do it to the right, just like that. Just do this quick, like, rock to the side, just quick motion. You gotta do this while pressing R1 and X at the same time, basically. So let's just combine them together like that. So there you go. That's a Clankless IG, or Clankless Lag Jump. You can also chain them together like that. Looks pretty good. So you can chain together. You can chain multiple of them, like so. You got to make sure not to press R1 before X, because then it'll look something like that. You don't want Ratchet to crouch at all. You want him to jump instantly. So you do it like that. Just try and copy the motion that is shown on the hand cam right here. So just do that, and as soon as he lands, you can start another one to the other side. You can also chain him to the same direction like this. So you can use them at will, and that's that. Clankless Infinite Jump. Alright, might as well stay on Old Tanis for Clankless Infinite Jumping. So what you gotta do is, for an infinite jump, this is a little bit in depth, because it's the first time we'll be teaching you about infinite jumps. What you gotta do is, I'm gonna tell you why it works first. First, the L1 button is very useful in this case because that is the first person camera. This only works when you're on the ground. If I press it in the air, nothing happens. If I press it on the ground, the game thinks I'm on the ground and I'm looking. So what you want to do is you want to jump over a cliff, or you can just jump in general. And then now you're in the PDA. Now what you want to do is, as soon as you've jumped, just hold L1 the whole time. Just keep that button held. Now what you want to do is press triangle and square. Now, if you can do this, I'm just going to walk you through it step by step because that's the easiest to do. And I guess up, if you want to do that as well. So we do triangle and X. Successful. Successful swing. That's progress. I'm going to do it off the ship just so we don't die every time. So you jump off, hold L1, and then I swipe it to the side like that. You can just kind of press it. So you press circle to open the PDA, and then press triangle, square, X, like this. So it's actually, you jump, then it's circle, triangle, square, X. So it's a circle, essentially. So it's like that. So now we press triangle, square, X, like that. It takes a little bit of time to get used to, but once you get it down, it's actually a very easy trick. It just does take a little bit of time to get used to get down in practice. And if you want to optimize your Clankless IJs, you want to jump, and then as soon as you open the PDA, pay attention to how I space my double jumps. So you want to double jump kind of at the end, because he does this really big double jump at the end. Because if you mash the double jump, that won't, he'll do that, and you won't go very far. So you can gain a little more length by spacing out the double jumps like this. So as soon as you take it off from the floor, you can chain them together like this, and it's pretty useful. So there you go. So pause, triangle, square, double jump, open the PDA. Just keep repeating this motion. Keep repeating this motion. Obviously this is a double jump, so it's triangle, square, XX, circle, triangle, square, XX. Keep repeating it. Circle, triangle, square, XX, triangle, square, XX, triangle, square, X, X. There you go. Like it's fairly simple. It just takes a little bit getting used to. Just try and pay attention to how I do it on the camera there. So that's Clankless IJs. The other methods we'll be teaching of infinite jumping will come later, but that's the easiest one of that one. Neutral long jump. Alright, now we're going to get into some helipack movement, starting with the neutral long jump. This works a little bit different from Ouya since you do not have the charge boots. So in order to start a long jump, you hold up and then you press R1 and X at the same time. Like I mentioned before, you don't want to press R1 before X because you do this little crouch. So you want to press them at the same time so that there's no wind-up time. Now, in order to do neutral long jumps, as you can see, I'm not touching... Like, my left hand is completely free from the controller. As soon as you do your first long jump, which you do by holding up, press R1 and X. As soon as you hit the ground a second time, you press R1 and X again, and again, and again. And you keep gaining speed. You just basically do it right as Ratchet hits the ground. It's very easy. I'll teach you about that later, by the way, the little lag jump I did there. But this is very easy to do. It shouldn't be that hard. Just, you know, be careful that you don't do it too early, otherwise a high jump happens like that. So give this a shot with practicing. Mid-air long jump. Alright, now it's time for your first advanced technique, I'd say. This is the mid-air long jump. And a lot of essential, like, this is actually kind of essential, even though a lot of players tend to not use this or tend to forget that it exists. So what you want to do is, I do it with the D-pad. I'm pretty much the only one who does it with the D-pad, so I will teach it with the analog stick. What you got to do is, you can do it off a normal long jump, or you can do it off neutral long jumps. So what you want to do is, you want to do a lag jump. The lag jump that you learned before, like this. You want to turn that into a long jump, like that. Like so. So it's a really quick motion. You want to press R1 and X. Like, you want to lag jump, and as soon as you're in, like, this state, you want to hold up and press R1 and X. So it's like, I'm going to do it slowly, so it's like, to the side, R1X, up, R1X. So like this. There you go. Like I said, you can also do it with neutral long jumps, so you can do it like this. Like I said, I do it with the D-pad, so that I'm not quite used to it, but you can do it like that. There you go. I do it with the D-pad, so I'm going to show you how that works as well. So you do some neutral long jumps, and then you basically, it's hard to explain, but you do long jump and then hold the side and just do it again. So like this. I can't really explain it better than the camera, than what's shown on the camera. So give this one a whirl. If you can't get this one down, it's okay. This one is pretty hard. So, and it will only really come useful like once you're like a top player. So, yeah. But it's good to know that this actually exists, so that you can practice it either way. Lag jumping and neutral canceling. Staying right where we are, let's go into some lag jumping. With Clank, it's actually a little bit different to lag jump. I covered this in the Ouya tutorial, but with helipack lag jumping, you want to pull the stick to the side a little bit later than what you'd normally think, because your lag jumps with Clank or with the helipack can go a bit further than your normal ones. Now, what you can also do is do something called neutral cancels with Clank's helipack, is where you would not even hold up after you start your lag jump. So you can do a lag jump and then not touch the stick, and then you can turn the long jumps into lag jumps, like so. So you're actually doing neutral long jumps, but you're canceling them into lag jumps, like this. So you're pressing R1 and X, and then a little bit after you flick the stick sideways. And you can actually see that you are gaining speed if you're doing them right. You see, I am gaining speed with this, so I was doing it right. Another thing is you can do a neutral cancel out of neutral long jumps. So I'm just going to do 3 neutral long jumps here, and you can just start doing lag jumps out of that. I'd always recommend doing the neutral cancel version because that's the way you keep your speed most of the time. If you start doing neutral long jumps like this, and you hold up and do it, it'll go slow like that, so you lose your speed. So give that a shot as well. It's very important that you learn how to chain lag jumping together with long jumping, so you can just keep switching or swapping them up like that. So it's pretty important that you know both of them. Direction changing neutral long jumps. Alright, let's teach you about direction changing long jumps. I decided to go to Gemlik base. I'd really recommend practicing all the movement stuff on this airstrip, or on this like strip right here. The reason I picked this in particular is because of this yellow line on the floor right here. Essentially, we want to line up completely with it, and then we want to I want to show you guys that we're changing our direction with that. So what you want to do for direction changing long jumps is start neutral long jumping, and as soon as you press R1 and X, you want to press a direction kind of in this sort of sense of area. So up works, but you want to like, it can't be very much, it's very slightly variable, so it's just like a little bit left, a little bit right. If you do this, he'll lag jump, but if you do that, like a little bit more up, he will do a direction change. So I'm going to try and show it to you guys here. So I usually like to change the camera for this, so I usually just press up as I do it, but you can see that I managed to change my angle, which was completely lined up with this, by changing the camera and then holding up. See, if you do it too sharp, he'll lag jump. So I usually just use the camera, but you can just keep the camera still and just do this. Like that. So you see, that's I guess that's that. It's not too important because the mid-air long jump usually, for me anyway, manages to change my angle more sharply, like so. That helps me a little bit more, but this is still useful to know and obviously important to cover. Heli pack infinite jumps. So let's teach you guys about infinite jumping with the heli pack. This is the first time you'll actually gain height with the infinite jumps. Whenever you had Clank, or whenever you were Clankless, you do not gain any height with your infinite jumps. So this one's pretty easy. This one's probably the one this one's probably easier than Clankless, but if you master Clankless, this one should be easier. So what you want to do is you want to high jump, and then as soon as you see the propeller basically go away, you open the PDA, and then you repeat the same motion as whenever you did Clankless IJs. You do triangle square, so that, and then keep holding L1, so he keeps the doing the ground wrench swing, which you see he does the ground one, not the air one. This is due to holding the L1 button. If you don't hold the L1 button, this happens. I'm just not going to hold it. He does a hyper strike instead. So you want to be holding L1. So you use that, and then as soon as you press triangle square, so he does the swing, you press R1 and X. Like that. Pretty easy. So you just do it like that. Cancel out. Like so. And obviously you can move around while you do it. It's pretty easy. You can just keep holding up and just as long as you know the motion, it's pretty easy. You know, circle, triangle, square, R1X, circle, triangle, square, R1X, circle, triangle, square, R1X, and keep going like that. And if you do them right, you will gain height with them. Obviously, if you do them down here, then you will not gain height. You'll lose height instead. So you want to wait until the heli pack is all the way up at the top. And that's that. Infinite long jump. Okay, so I'm going to cover the hardest technique in the whole game on Umbris here. So this is infinite long jumping. And what this is essentially on planets Aridia, Umbris, Hoven, Velden 2, and Rilgar. These 5 planets, you're capable of doing these infinite long jumps. This mud surface on Umbris takes it as, for some reason, you're on the floor. So if you do you've been told how to do mid-air long jumps before, which are these. If you do those over this mud infinitely, like you spam the input completely, Ratchet will fly through the air, which you have seen before in my runs. I do this with the D-pad, there's only one runner, Nuka, who does this with the analog stick, so I'm going to teach you it with the D-pad. Do it if you wish to do it with the analog. It's just that a lot of people can't seem to turn the analog as fast as Nuka can. So I'd recommend the D-pad. So I'm gonna try and show it off here. So what you want to do is you want to be right on the edge. If I am right here, it won't work. If I'm right here, it won't work. If I'm here, it will work. So you got to be on the very edge. So you want to start off with a long jump. So if you want to hold up, press R1 and X, and then mash the crap out of either side of the D-pad, left or right. I'm gonna do right just because I want to fly in that direction, and then R1 and X. So it's gonna look something like this. Something like that. So here we go. So you walk over, and then it looks like this. That was pretty good. It obviously will not be as good as right there. That took me hundreds of hours to get infinite long jumps that were that good. So I'm gonna do. You can also change direction of infinite long jumps in midair, so you can do left to right like this. See, so I changed my direction. If you end up with a side flip, okay, so I want to know that there's a couple things that can end your infinite long jump. The camera can be one problem. If your camera is like this and you're still going on right, sometimes Ratchet will end with a side flip, and that is usually due to the camera. If you end with a long jump, it's because you're not mashing the D-pad fast enough. If you're ending with a side flip, you probably didn't hit R1 and X fast enough. I mean, obviously, the length that I just got, if you can get what I just got, that right there, just about that, then that's really good. This takes so much time to practice, and this is a major run killer for you know, just for the NG Plus speedrun. So that's infinite long jumps. You want to be right on the edge as well. If you only get one input, it's probably because you're not walking off the very edge. Okay, so right there, my hand got stuck on the right D-pad. So that's what that happened right there. Some people have a method that works for them. I usually like to lift my right hand off the controller right here, and then I just kind of go ham on the two buttons here. So yeah, it's really difficult to stay on the camera while I'm trying to do this. You also can't really talk while you're doing it because you just sound like a complete idiot. Yeah. PDA Glide. Alright, so for PDA gliding, we're gonna continue along with infinite long jumps. Essentially, if you have a ton of speed, which you build up with infinite long jumps, you can also build them up with neutral long jumps, mid-air long jumps, and whatnot. What you want to do is, this one's really simple, so I'll do it really fast. Let's just get an infinite long jump here. Okay, so when you have a lot of speed like this, you want to press circle to open the PDA. Now what you want to do is press triangle X. Not hold the stick anywhere. If you do that, you do a PDA glide. And this basically allows you to just do a quick glide, because otherwise if you don't do that... There you go. So you just do that, and as soon as you start gliding, you can change direction as you please. So there you go. Very useful technique. You want to do that. You kind of have to judge when you want to do it, because there is a time, for infinite long jumping at least, you want to do these. You want to do it whenever you're whenever you're falling downwards. So I'm gonna just try and teach you what a good time is to use a PDA glide. And now, because he's going downwards. It's not as soon as he goes downwards, but it's as soon as he's going a little bit downwards. Also, if you end with a lag jump, like that, oh my god, this thing. If you're going downwards, let's say you end with a lag jump, so I'm gonna try that. It's really difficult to end with a lag jump on purpose, but let's say you end like that, then you want to try and use it at the peak. Oops. You want to try and use it at the peak. It's hard to say, but I can explain it like this. So let's do some neutral long jumps. So let's do 1, 2, and let's end it with a side flip. If you notice, you do it, so end it at the top, because you get the most speed out of that. But obviously it's still the most recommendable to try and end your infinite long jumps with a long jump. thruster pack leg jumping, and neutral cancels. Okay, now for leg jumping with the thruster pack. If you played Ouya, this should be fairly easy for you. What you want to do is basically, you can do the same thing as in Ouya, where you can long jump, and then you can turn it into a leg jump like that. So, just right about as you're about to hit the floor, which is just about now, you want to press to the side with the stick like that. So that's a leg jump. So pretty easy, just do it like that. Again, you can do it with the D-pad. I kind of do it with the D-pad sometimes unconsciously, which is... it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which one you're doing. But I'd still recommend doing a neutral cancel with the leg jump, which means that as soon as you do it, you don't entirely want to do that all the time. I'd recommend, just to get the maximum speed out of it, I would try and long jump and then do another long jump. Because the second long jump can be turned into a leg jump, which is, again, this neutral cancel thing I told you about. The neutral cancel on Heli pack gains you speed, but the one with the thruster does not. But I'd still recommend doing them. So your leg jumps can either look like this, where you do them instantly. Oops, let me try and do that again. So you do them instantly, like that. Or you can do neutral cancels, which I would definitely recommend because they're a little more consistent. Like so. So yeah, that's that. You can also do leg jumping while like that. You can turn the long jump, which is what you do, you can turn that into a leg jump by flicking the stick at a certain moment. If you do it too early, it won't go as far as if you were to flick it late. So practice the timing on the flicks here. And you can start neutral cancels from there. So that's that. Infinite jumping with the thruster pack and ground pound cancels. Let's go over some ground pound cancels. Now, this is another important technique that you need to do in order to gain height with your thruster pack infinite jumps. So what you want to do is do the same thing as with the Heli. You jump over a cliff, and then you pull out the PDA, hold L1 as usual. Now you want to get the swing again, which is triangle square. You've already known this. And now what you want to do is double jump. This one's a little bit important. That was a ground pound cancel. I'm going to teach you it on the floor instead. So I'm going to teach you the motion on the floor so we can use it into an infinite jump. So what the motion is double jump, and then it's RX, like this. So that is a ground pound cancel. Is essentially, whenever you ground pound like that, you can cancel it with the X button. If you do it too late, he ground pounds anyway, so you gotta find the timing right. You want to make sure to do it safe, so that you have... Like, it is kind of risky to push it at to the very edge of the ground pound, but it is the most optimal. It's just that if you do the ground pound cancel on Drex Fleet, and you ground pound, you're doomed. There's nothing you can do about it. On other levels, I will show you how to save a failed ground pound cancel. I'll probably cover that about now, but let's first teach you how to do it. So you want to double jump and press ground pound. You can do that. So double jump and ground pound, and then as soon as you've ground pounded, you hit X. Like that. So that, you see, you gain a lot of height with that. Whereas a regular thrust, which is double jump and then press R1 and X, is not as much height as a ground pound cancel. You can kind of tell by the amount we gain from the door here. So I could just barely get up on the door, and a ground pound cancel gets over it fairly easily. So let's do it in an IJ. So what you want to do is double jump over, and then hold L1, swing the wrench, double jump, and then after you've pressed X, you can start holding forward again, because okay, so I guess I should also mention, sometimes infinite jumps can get failed if you're over surfaces, specific surfaces. I was over that rock, which you can't stand on, so when I'm holding L1, the game doesn't register a wrench swing. It can't swing because I'm not on the ground. I can't stand on the ground on whatever's below me. So every time I pause and hold L1 and swing, whatever is below me, I'm able to swing over it if I can stand on it. It works on liquid surfaces like the acid here, but it doesn't work all the time. So there's not a whole lot to tell you. You just ground pound cancel, And like I said, just try and space out your double jumps like this. It's fairly easy. So just try and do what I do on the controller. It's kind of difficult to tell, but follow along step by step. Open the PDA, triangle square, double jump, R1, X. Triangle square, double jump, R1, X. Open the PDA, do that. If you're having issues comprehending things, just stay in the PDA, because you can stay in there for as long as possible. And if you're trying to you know, just to cut it down step by step, just try and swing the wrench, and then open the PDA again. So just try and get the swing down. If you get the swing down, you can jump out of it. So that's all there is to ground pound cancels. They're really important. You can also thrust normally out of it like this, but you don't gain as much height, so I'd recommend ground pound cancels at all costs. Also, quick thing, let me tell you how to save a failed ground pound cancel. So let's say you ground pound, you know, you're doing ground pound cancels, and then, oops, you failed your ground pound, so now I'm going in the mud. Now I'm doomed. You can actually save this. What you do is you pull up the goodies, and go to in-level movies. Now what you do is you watch the in-level movie while you're holding L1, and then skip it, and then once you get to this screen right here, press start and square in this motion. You hear that the ground wrench swing is happening, so therefore you can jump out of it again. And then you can begin ground pound cancels again. So let me try and do that again. So you're doing ground pound cancels, and then, oops, I'm failing it. So we can do that again, and then we saved it. Also takes a bit getting used to, but it's good to know. The only planets, I think, as far as I know, where this wasn't... The only planet where it's useful to know is Drex Fleet, because there are no in-level movies to play. Like these two right here, I have 2 in-level movies to play on this planet, but I don't have any to play on Drex Fleet, so if you accidentally ground pound on Drex Fleet, this strat does not work. There's also no in-level movies on Gaspar, so you can't do it there either. There's probably more, but those are the only planets where we would need in-level movies. So, you know, just test out which planets have them, test out which one doesn't. And that's that. In-level movie ground pounds. Here we are on Velden 2, people. I'm going to teach you all how to do in-level movie ground pounds. So what you want to do is you want to have goodies and in-level movies selected so that you can mash it really fast. So what you do is I'm going to tell you a couple frames where ground pound pausing when in the ground pound is good and when it's bad. So this is bad. That is also bad. As soon as Ratchet turns upside down, it's kind of bad. As soon as he's sideways, I think the best frame is where he's nearly upside down. If he's tilted sideways, that is one of the best frames, essentially. That's the best one, I think. That's pretty much the best one you can get, where he's almost upside down. And the reason why it's good that he's not going downwards is because if you are going upwards when doing these in-level movie ground pounds, you'll gain more height. If he's going downwards, you will gain next to no height. So what this is you ground pound and pause on a good frame. So I'll do that one. That one's okay. So we'll do goodies, hold L1 of course, because we have to swing the wrench. So goodies, and as soon as I play this in-level movie, I hold start a quarter second after. So like this. So it skips it automatically, like that. It skips it as fast as possible by holding it a quarter second after. Now what I do is I press start and then X, or square, to swing the wrench. So like this. So you can see that I basically lost next to no height after I swung the wrench. I'll show it again. You see how he kind of just stays on the floor? It's like there's an invisible floor after he swings the wrench. So I'll do it again. Goodies, play the in-level movie, hold start, and then start square, and now do it again. So that one's going downwards. Okay, I double screwed up there. So the first one, I went downwards, so I messed that up. Second of all, I didn't hold start after the in-level movie, so look at how much height I'm going to lose after that. See, so I lost some height there. So you can just keep doing this over and over again and gain a crap ton of height with this. This is a really, really useful technique, and it's essential to learn for Veldin 2, since we now skip all the way over those mountains and go straight to Drek. You gain a lot of height with that, so please do learn it. It's not too hard. The trick that I was missing was the fact that you have to hold start as soon as you play the in-level movie, so it skips it automatically. The thing I used to think was that you had to mash it. So after I played it, I had to sit there and mash it and then just hope that I would get it. I got it right there, but holding start is so much more consistent and so much better, so please learn that instead. Infinite Sideflips. Okay, so here I am on Hoven. I'm going to show you the infinite Sideflips right here. What you got to do is just about as on Umbrus with the infinite long jumps. You want to be right on the edge, otherwise it will not work. You double jump, and then you press R1 and X, and then a side direction, and then keep holding R1, and then just keep tapping right X, left X, right F, or X, left X, right X, or so on and so forth. So you do this kind of motion right here. So you hold that, and then you go. So it looks like that. You just keep rocking the stick back and forth as you're pressing. Keep rocking the stick back and forth as you're pressing X. So like this. So you walk off, double jump, hold R1, and then just. So this does take a little bit of practice because to make it up to this turret, the first thing people usually encounter is that they're going forward whenever they're doing that, which is like this. And when you keep going forward like that, you hit the bottom of the turret platform and you fall and die. So you don't want that to happen. So what you do with that instead is you do it a little bit back. So with the stick, you instead of going left to right, you do back left, back right, back left, back right. Your thumb will slip off at the start, but that's why it takes practice to do this. So you see that I'm just basically rocking the stick at the bottom of the controller. Obviously, my hand slipped off. That just happens to me. That usually doesn't happen on my other controller, where the stick is, or the rubber's taken off. But that's just a little side note there. If you want to go forward, you can hold up and do it. But if you transition from back to forward too fast, then the infinite side flips will cancel out. So there you go. Just keep rocking the stick, and you're up there. Pretty easy. Just try and do this over and over again. Practice it a bit. It's not too bad. Speedy A. Back on Kerwan here, I'm going to show you all a Speedy A. This, you need the PDA out. And essentially what this is you're building up speed using the PDA. This is mostly obsolete due to the Walloper, but it's very good to know either way, because you can still use this, not as in a Speedy A, but you could pause your momentum to a full stop, and you'll still carry it with the Speedy A. So what this is you long jump, and as soon as the propellers go out, like just about as much as I did right there, like I'm gonna show you, this is too little, and this is too much. So it's got to be right in between. So like right there, that's good. So what you want to do is you want to long jump, and now you need to do neutral long jumps into these PDAs. So you press neutral long jump, open, close the PDA, open, close, open, close, open, close, and you open it, you close it, you do a neutral long jump. You open, you close, you neutral long jump. That's basically the concept here. So you do it like this. And you don't hold up at all, because these are neutral long jumps. So you can see that I'm just gaining speed like this. And then a really, really important thing that a lot of people don't know about is the fact that you can do a mid-air long jump at the end of your Speedy A. So you can do 1, 2, 3, 4. And right here, I'm going to do a mid-air long jump. So, like that. So that gains you that little extra speed that you might need to make it sometimes. So I'm going to try and go on top of Kerwan here, just to show you guys that you can make it across this giant gap with Speedy A's. In the run, we actually use the Walloper now, and I'll cover that very soon. But let me just head to the top here. So in the old strat, you got over here, and then you would Speedy A all the way across this because you have this little stretch to do it on. A very quick important note that I discovered myself: if you're about this close to the edge, mid-air long jump at the end will not work. For some reason, mid-air long jumps do not work whenever you're at the very end. Right there, that was enough speed to make it. Or that was enough distance that I could mid-air long jump, but if you're on the very edge, it does not work. So you have to be a little bit away from it. So I'm going to try and pull off a 5 pause Speedy A right here. So let's do it. 1. Okay. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there we go. That is pretty bad, but it at least shows it off. So we got 1 IJ. That obviously you can do that without anything, but that's the basics of Speedy A. Another good thing to know is, let's say you're about to, let's say you're just about to come over here, and you're doing your neutral long jumps, and you're like, oh crap, I know I'm gonna fall off. So what you can do, if you see that you're about to fall off, pause the PDA, so you'll fall straight downwards, and then you can do a new long jump. So like, the same goes for this. If you know you're about to, like, if you're gonna overshoot with this, you can cancel it out with the PDA. Like this, like, you know you're about to die, you can pull out the PDA, turn around, do a lot of things. So the PDA is always a great #1 item to have out, because it'll save your ass all the time. Have it out. It's basically your best buddy, so that's that. Swingshot Swag. Okay, so currently we're heading to planet Rilgar. I'm about to show you guys something we call Swingshot Swag. We call this Hyper Swing Hovering in Ratchet 2 and 3 because you have the charge boots in those games, so it's way easier to build speed. But the way you build speed initially with this is you do a neutral long jump after you come out of a swing shot. So these swing shots can give you so much momentum, and as soon as you land on this, you can, unless you're on the very edge, then it won't work. So you land, so you come through here, and then you hold the stick neutral, and if you jump right as you land, well, you wait like a half second. If you wait a half second and then jump, if you land right in the center, then you can do a neutral long jump, you can do a mid-air long jump, you can do a lag jump. So I'm going to try and show this off right here. You can do a double jump, which is useful right there, so I can start these. I'm going to try and show it backwards so that you can do more stuff. So you do that, and then you can side flip, you can mid-air long jump, pull out the PDA. So you can see how everything in this game just kind of chains together really well. So yeah, you can do everything. You can neutral long jump right there. Obviously not useful in that scenario, but you can do it. Just an important factor is that if you do hit the very edge, which means if your swing shot move lands on this edge, like right here, then all the momentum is killed. Also, if you hold up the whole time, like this, I'm going to try and show you guys what happens if you hold up the whole time, then all of your speed is killed because you're holding up. Holding neutral just carries that speed. It means you're just not touching. The lesser you're holding up, the better your speed will be. So that's all I can really show you about those. I'm going to go to Umbris and show you guys Speedy A's with the green ones instead of the yellow swing shot pads. Alright, so for these green pads right here, the same thing kind of works. However, you actually have, in this case, to be holding up. Now, if you swing and then hold completely neutral, I'm going to try and show it, then your speed is killed. So in this case, you actually need to hold up for a split second after you let go. So you let go of circle before you let go of up. So you see, so circle and then up, and then you carry the speed. You don't want to be holding up for more time than that, because if you do that, then obviously most of your speed is killed. See, right there, I had less speed than what I should have, like this. So you can see I made it way further. So this is with max speed. So if you hook onto it and do that, then boom, you can see I almost overshot that where, you know, on the way back here, I barely made it before, and now I made it just fine. So, yeah, there's that. So that's just, like, really important to know as well. Alright, on to the next move. Walloper Punches. Alright, back on Velden 2, I'm gonna show you guys some Walloper stuff. Walloper stuff is most effective with the Heli pack. So let me just kill all these enemies so I can show this off. The Walloper is actually quite an interesting item because it's yet to be... I feel like there's more stuff to it, but it's newly discovered, this technique right here. So what you do is you're holding up and then you do a Walloper punch. You gotta know exactly what frames is a good punch and what's a bad punch. So if the glove is not in front of you, which it is now, that's one of the best ones. It's kind of hard for me to mistime it, because I know exactly when to press start. But something like that, that is a bad frame. That will not gain me the speed needed. So essentially you need a frame that goes forward, which that one was good. That one is really, really good. That one's bad. That one's good. That one's great. That one's great. So you just gotta know. Essentially the glove has to be in front of you, and you still have to be gaining speed. It's also possible to be doing it too late. Like, I think that one's bad. And what you want to do with a good one, let's get a good one right here. There you go. You want to press goodies, press in-level movie, watch it. Do not do the same technique as on ground pound in-level movies, because if you do that, you'll do a forward slide, which can come in handy, but is usually most of the time is not useful, because the slide takes away a little bit of the speed, so don't do that. So watch a little bit of the in-level movie, like a quarter of a second of it. So as soon as I press start, he's gonna come out with a ton of speed. I stood still for a long time, but you can see that just a neutral jump, like this, gained me a bunch of random speed. So you can do a lot of things out of the Walloper. You can... I'm gonna just show them all here. You can double jump, very useful. You can long jump, so a neutral long jump, press R1 and X. You just start more long jumps like that. You can mid-air long jump, which is one of the more useful ones. Oops, let's get a good one here. So, like that. Pretty useful as well. You can side flip out of it, pretty easy as well. Like so. Pretty easy. New technique, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but as long as you get it the right lineup, it's not too hard. So go practice this one. Slope Intercept. Okay, so I covered this a little bit better in the Ratchet 3 movement guide, but I'm going to cover slope intercepting here as well because it's really important in Ratchet 1. So essentially, in Ratchet 1, I think I'm jumping into it a little bit too fast here, so let me go back and explain it. In Ratchet 1, you can hold R1 as you're coming down from something and just mash X, and certain sloped surfaces, if I just keep mashing X like this, you can SI off of them. I actually think I just SI'd off almost a particle of the floor right there. So as you can see, I can't SI. Oh, there's an SI. So that part of this thing, and I can actually SI off most of this. So that's really interesting. So once you see if I'm holding up, holding R1, and then just mashing X, you can see that Ratchet decides to just do an SI off these things, which is a high jump, slope intercept. So it's quite important in order to gain height. These take a little bit to master. Some walls are really finicky to the point where you need to get really close to it, and then you need to mash X. You need to also make sure that you're gliding downwards, because if I'm gliding upwards and mashing X like this, then I can't do it, because then I usually just fall down. See, like that. So you fall down. You gotta make sure that he's gliding downwards. If he's not gliding downwards, then the SI won't work. That's why I'm going back a little bit, to give Ratchet room enough so that he can glide downwards. So now I'm gonna show off a pretty good SI chain over here. I've not done this one in a while, so I probably will mess it up, but essentially, a part of that rock over there is you can SI on it, and then over there you can also SI. So I'm gonna try and show that right here. So by gliding downwards and just mashing X as soon as I get close, I can SI. Right there. And now I'm going to fly over here, because I know that you can also SI off this part of the rock, so I'm just going to mash X when I get close. There you go. I messed up the first one there, but I'm pretty confident in this, so, you know, I know how to SI off this pretty well. That wall is kind of finicky, but that shows it off fairly well, that you can slope intercept off a lot of things, so this is another method used to gain height. So I also just SI'd up onto this house right here. So that's useful in its own right. It's good to know. Enjoy. Ghost Ratchet. Here I am back on Umbris. So for Ghost Ratchet, the main goal is... Oops, I already had it active. Yeah, that might have looked weird to you guys, but basically I had Ghost Ratchet active, so I fell through part of this rail right here. So yeah, this is a pretty fun one, because what this allows you to do is once you die, which you do, jump into mud, and then you save yourself out of it with the swing shot. It's pretty easy to do. You have a very big window to do this. You can jump through walls like this, because the game doesn't register any hitboxes for Ratchet except the floor. So you can just kind of walk through everything. So you see, I'm just kind of... This looks really glitchy. The fact that I can just straight up walk through a lot of this stuff. A lot of the time you have to jump through it, but... Yeah, there is no hitbox registered. And if you end up in a box like this, you can also jump through boxes. The box doesn't know what to do, so it breaks. This is a useful technique because in order to clip into the boss, you do infinite long jumps plus Ghost Ratchet through this big building right here. And once you do that, you end up in the boss arena over here. And what that does is skip to the rest of to the last bit of the planet. Ghost Ratchet runs out on a minute timer. I think it's about 5 minutes or so you have to wait. If you wait about 5 minutes, it'll run out on its own. And if you change planets, it'll also run out. Or if you die, then it runs out. So I'm going to try and show off what I mean. I'm just going to try and go through... that was pretty bad. I'm just going to try and go through the boss so you guys can see that I'm clipping through the big wall. I'm just going through the wall and seeing why is this a helpful glitch to the run. It's actually very essential that it's useful. See, so I'm just clipping through the whole walls here, and nothing can stop me at this point. I am a monster. This big barrier right here is also supposed to be, you know, you're not supposed to be able to go through it, but I can because Ghost Ratchet's active. I can jump through all of these ships, because they also don't have a hitbox. Some of them, they kind of do, but not really. Like, Ghost Ratchet has weird functions. Like, it acts really strangely. I think I completely passed through all of these. Yeah, there's nothing that can touch me through that. But that's Ghost Ratchet. There's other ways you can trigger it by playing an in-level movie when falling into the mud. So it's basically just trying to save yourself out of a sinking death. I'm gonna try and do that right here. So let's try and do that. There we go. So now I'm under the level. So now I also have Ghost Ratchet without using the swing shot. However, to get back up on the level, I need to avoid the mud, which is not entirely possible in a lot of ways, so I will probably die trying to save myself here. Let's see if I can save myself. Oh, I got hit by the thing into the mud. But there you go, that shows off Ghost Ratchet. PDA Death. So here on Planet Gaspar, I'm about to show you guys PDA Death, which is essentially, as you can see, I have 8 health, and in order for me to die on the lava, it takes a really long time for me. It takes 2 bounces, and on the 3rd bounce, I sink and die. Now, if you can time it well with the PDA, what you can do is you can actually open it right as you hit the lava and die instantly. So it's a bit finicky, you know, whenever the camera is so far above the level. I think I missed it right here. So if you miss it, you just bounce off the lava. So if you miss it, you can like kind of buffer your way down, but the best way to do it is hit the lava, sink in, like that. I mean, there's nothing more to it other than just open the PDA as soon as you're about to die. That's basically it. Just a really quick, important thing to know. Decoy clipping. So I'm going to explain decoy clips while I'm heading over to Old Tanis. So decoy clips is very essential to learn in all Ratchet games, and in Ratchet 2 it is also possible to clip through with the decoy and the turret, but in Ratchet 3 you usually use the mini turret or the mega turret. So the setup on most walls, in PS3 it's actually really difficult to clip through walls, because a lot of the time you'll get caught in your own decoy, and that's a problem. Because of this sloped floor right here, it's possible to clip through this wall very easily. The setup is walk up to the wall, hold L1, and then tap twice to the left. Just a little bit more. And toss the decoy, hold a bit forward, and bam, I clipped through. So you can see, I can't really see on the other side here, but the decoy has pushed me through, so that is very useful. And now I can do this trick in Old Tanis, where I swing my way up here and clip to the end of the level. So here we got the shop guy. He's gone apparently, but there you go. That's decoy clipping. I'm not done with this yet at all, because I'm going to show you that if I try and clip right next to my failed one, the property of the new decoy will change. So I'm going to do the same setup. This should work, right? No, it does not. The old decoy, for some reason, has this thing. You need to destroy the old decoy before you attempt the new one, which is why you might see... I'm just going to fail this decoy clip on purpose. Obviously, that one's too far away. But basically, if you fail the first decoy clip, you destroy the first one and try again before throwing another one. So that's just one thing you need to know. The same thing goes if you're trying to clip through a wall, and then you're going to clip through the same wall on the way back. You need to shoot the Devastator at the wall so that the decoy on the other side blows up. I'm going to go to... What planet was it that I wanted to show off some more decoy clipping? The planet I was thinking of was Drex Fleet, so here we are. I'm going to go up here, and I made a tutorial video on this. I'm going to try and show you what it happens if you try and clip through a wall normally. So I'm just going to walk up to this, look a bit left, and this is usually what happens. You get caught in your own decoy. That clip worked right there, but a lot of the time on PS3, you will have it where you get caught in your own decoy and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. So I'm going to try it again. Okay, apparently it's working now, but... okay, so this is what I mean. If I try and clip through the same wall, you can see that the decoy is sticking through. If I try and do this again, I get caught in my own decoy, and I can't do anything except destroy it. And same goes for the decoy on the other side. I have to destroy it. So let's try and clip back through. There we go. So now it works because of the other decoy being destroyed. So I have to destroy it, then use my last decoy here. And obviously it doesn't work all the time. So decoy clipping in Ratchet 1 at least has to have some sort of setup in order to be consistent. You only clip through... with my route you clip 3 times, and all of them are consistent. So that's decoy clips, and that also sums up pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about in this video. So I apologize if I went overboard with explaining some of the stuff, but doing live commentary makes for way less editing on my part. So this video will probably be about an hour, but I guess that's okay. This does cover everything that you need to know. So enjoy running Ratchet 1. This mostly applies to New Game Plus. You can apply most of the stuff to any percent as well, but all of these things, like in-level movies, can only be accessed through NG Plus, for an example. So that's that, guys. Thank you for watching. I am the Rixer, and thank you for the subs on Twitch, because I would not have been making this video without you guys. So thank you guys. Highly requested video. Glad it's done. And hopefully we can develop the channel a lot more with this movement. I don't have any great speech, I'm just thankful. So see you guys around, and here's some more.